How's it going, Top Forest TV? My name's Jack and welcome to my preview for Nottingham Forest versus Brighton and Hove Albion, taking place at the City Ground on Saturday. It's going to be an interesting game, this. A really interesting game. Brighton, we know they have the capabilities of being a really, really good side. Got some really good players within their squad. Really great manager in Roberto De Zerbi, who a lot of people are kind of tipping to take over from Pep when he eventually leaves Man City. But they're not on the best of form at the moment. Brighton, they're struggling a little bit. They've not kind of been able to play the way that they would have liked to recently. I know the last game before the international break, they drew 1-1 with Sheffield United. So they're a side who currently aren't in the best of form, but we know what they're about. We know what they can do. We know what they're capable of, Brighton. They have some fantastic players. I know a few of their players are missing. I think Ferguson's out. I've heard that Mitoma's going to be out, which is good news for us. Estepinian's been out for a while now, and he was someone that was chipping in with a lot of assists, being really creative down that left-hand side. So they are missing a couple of players who are going to be key to them, but then we're missing a couple of players who are going to be key to us. The news came out today, which was really frustrating to read, that Taiwo is out for 3 to 4 months, and I'm hoping it's one of those sort of Steve Cooper, one of his specialities where he says that a player's going to be out for a while. I think he said that something along the lines of Worrell would be out for 6 weeks and then started the game directly after him saying that. I'm hoping it's one of them kind of trying to throw off opposition fans and trying to make people think, one thing when that's not particularly the case, and he'll be back a lot quicker than that. I'm hoping that's the case because we do look a lot different without Taiwo. You can't deny it. We look like a very different side. We go from being a team who have a lot of threat going forward, who have like that real presence up front, to a team that kind of just look a little bit toothless in a sense. Not completely, because we do still have some good strikers. Chris Wood, he's a proven goal scorer in this division. When he was at Burnley, scored a really good amount of goals for them, and his goals helped them to stay in the division, which I don't think we're going to be in a position, hopefully, where we're trying to stay in the division. I feel like we might just be a bit above that. You'll have your Evertons, now they've had their points deduction. You're probably your Bournemouth, even though they've got a good win against Newcastle. You've got your obviously your newly promoted sides who are really struggling this year. So I think we should be okay even without Taiwo, but we do look a bit of a less scary proposition to go up against, especially at home when we have Taiwo, when we have the City Ground crowd in full voice. We are a really dangerous team to go and play against, and now one of our main strengths is out. It'll be interesting to see how things pan out without him. We've got a good two backup strikers in Divock Origi and Chris Wood. I assume Chris Wood will be starting. He looks like the natural pick for this position. But again, Divock is a proven striker in the Premier League. Scored some massive goals for Liverpool, and yet to really mark his make his mark on the first team. But that'll come with time, and hopefully he'll be able to get his chance and take it with both hands. It's a kick in the teeth that Taiwo's out, because, or maybe kick in the teeth isn't the right phrase to use. It's a kick in the nuts, if you will, that he's out, because we saw how good he was against West Ham. He'd been out for a little bit, came back, and he'd been really effective. Scored against West Ham and looked like he was getting back to himself, and then he went on the international break and unfortunately picked up a groin injury and he's out for a little while now. So hopefully we can be able to deal without him and not miss him too much. I think that he's a striker that we really do look a lot better with. But like I say, we've got adequate replacements. It's not like we're dropping from Taiwo to a youngster who is coming through and still needs time to develop. We've got two proven Premier League quality strikers, so hopefully they can come in and do what they need to do. But it's not ideal that Taiwo's out. Like I say, Brighton do have some difficult injuries to deal with themselves. Kaoru Mitoma is a really brilliant footballer. I really enjoy watching him. There's a goal he scored against Liverpool in the FA Cup last season, and it was absolutely delightful. Made Joe Gomez look like an absolute fool. It was brilliant. It really, really was. They've got some really good players, Brighton, but without the likes of Ferguson and Mitoma, they could be a little bit less of a scary opposition. You know, they've still got Ansu Fati, who has really started to find his feet here at England, at Brighton. He's starting to look a lot more comfortable and settled here, which for Brighton fans is good to see, and for the neutral Premier League fan really, because he's a good player. Ansu Fati, on his day when he was at Barcelona, he could be really, really good, but he lost his way a little bit, and hopefully for him he does regain that, but not on Saturday. Hopefully not that he has a stinker, but hopefully we're able to nullify his threat. But yeah, looking forward to this one. I really am. I feel like back at the City Ground, we beat a really on form Aston Villa side. I think we're the only team that have beaten them in like a decent run, which is really good to see. Us at home, we're a different breed, different animal to the away Nottingham Forest, and hopefully we can really use that to our advantage. Get the home fans roaring us on as we know we need. Say roaring us on as if I'm one of the players. Get the home fans roaring the players on and really being the 12th man, which makes it so difficult. I look back to that Brighton game back in the last season where we came out 3-1 winners. I think they had a penalty we had a penalty. That's it. We had a penalty that was saved, and then we had a penalty that we scored, and that was a huge, huge moment in our bid to stay in the Premier League. We just had a difficult loss, I think, to Leeds, and then we went home to Brighton and we beat them. And I was kind of looking at it thinking there's a potential that we're only really going to get 4 points from the last so many games with Southampton and Palace, and I was thinking we're probably going to go down. But then we beat Brighton and I just felt like rejuvenated, revived. I thought, you know what, actually we can go ahead and we can do it. We can get something from the games that we're not too sure on, and we can stay in the division. That's what we proved to do. So hopefully it's another win that helps us to push on and push forward and keep going. I think obviously as we know, our home form is going to be very important on us staying up, but I think we can do it. I think if we really make sure that we put a lot into our home form and we do work on our away form, which we have done. I think I'm right in saying that every away result this season has been better than last season's. I'm pretty sure in saying that, barring Liverpool, whereas Liverpool we lost 3-0 and last season it was a 3-2. And then depending how you look on it, Palace away we drew 1-1, but we drew 0-0. So we kept a clean sheet away, which is a big ask, but then we didn't score. So there's that kind of side to it. But look, we're improving, and that's all that matters. Home form, like I say, is going to be huge. And I feel like Brighton coming to the City Ground, depending on what sort of Brighton side turn up, whether they are the on form, playing absolutely incredible football, Brighton, or the team that are really struggling at the minute, Brighton, which I'm hoping it's the latter rather than the former, we could get something. We really could. And I feel like we've got the ability to go ahead and do that. Now, usually I would just go through my starting 11, but I've kind of lost track on who's injured and who's not. I feel like we have a settled 11. Now, there's a couple of injuries that don't get me wrong, so we're going to have to deal with that. But I want to see Forest go as close to as possible the sort of lineup that we have been using of late, and hopefully we can go on and really put a good performance in and get 3 points, as our home games really should be warranting against the likes of Brighton. It won't be easy. Brighton are a very good side, but I feel confident that we can go out and do that. I'm going to go Nottingham Forest 2, Brighton 1. I feel like we can keep our unbeaten home run going in the Premier League, and hopefully we can pick up another 3 points, which will be massive for us. Now, obviously Everton have got their points deduction, so we do move up a position, so we benefit from that. Hopefully we can keep kicking on and keep going and really back in our home performances up with the 3 points I deserve, and we can really go on and get a huge 3 points. So let us know in the comment section down below what you think is going to happen today on Saturday, what your thoughts are on the game. For me, the big talking point in terms of the starting 11 is who's going to start up front. I'm going to go with, for me, Chris Wood, but if you think it's Divock Origi, let us know down in the comment section down below. Let us know your thoughts on that. What's your prediction for the game? All that good stuff. Like the video if you have enjoyed. Subscribe if you are new around here. And come on, you Reds.